Today's episode is brought to you by Waxit. Transform your car care game with Waxit and make it easier to maintain in the long run. From starter kits to professional cleaning tools, Waxit can help anyone who loves their car to keep it nice and crisp. Right now, you can get 10% off all of your purchases if you use the link in the episode description, and you can find it on any of our social media channels. Waxit, lift your car care game today. All right. Onto the show. Does cracks in, Mackay loses composure, the Crom go bomb, and we lose to Adelaide in a dire affair. This is the Sash, definitely not the official podcast of the Essendon Football Club. I'm your host, Rob, here for the Monday review show, and joining me in studio is Joel. Hello, mate.
Hey, Rob. How are you going?
I'm good. You're looking fresh. You're looking like someone who's spent 6 weeks in Europe and hasn't been going to the footy every week like me.
Yeah, I feel fresh. I went away last year as well, and it's a bit different. Last year when I went away, we were 5th, and when I came back, we were like 13th.
Okay.
So this year I went away and we were in the top 4, and we're still in the top 8.
Okay.
So
holding on.
That's an improvement in general.
Okay.
But I'm feeling good.
And also in studio, Dr. Damo. Hello, mate.
Hello, Bob. Well, I saw on the run sheet you named Joel glass half full.
Yeah.
After Friday night's game, and for you to be starting the show with something positive is an achievement too. But that was as bad a loss I've seen for a while, personally. Like that one really stung the Nostys.
Yeah. I sat in my seats for a solid 5 minutes, I reckon, after the game.
Yeah.
Refusing to leave, just sitting there contemplating what was going on.
Yep.
Hearing, Mr. Brightside pumped through Marvel Stadium. I was like, oh, this is not the time. Not the time. I watched it back today, and obviously the emotions of that game killed me, but watching it back, I was so many times in that game I was sitting there going, how did we lose this game? Because it almost sums Essendon up that it was the absolute extremes of the worst footy you see from us, some of the best footy you see for us, and then we just don't get the result in the end.
Yep.
And yeah, you can, back to the emotions, I'm not sure if you guys watched either Brad Scott or Zach Merritt's post-game comments.
I've watched both. Yep.
I really feel for the bloke at the club who has to go, hey, Zachy, come here, mate, Zachy, do you mind speaking for a minute or so? And Zach probably would have gone, go get stuffed.
Yeah.
God, yeah. It's nice to see them hurting, but
yeah.
I mean, we're all hurting too, so.
Yeah.
You could see with that Zach Merritt interview that was a man quite defeated and deflated. He's like, for once, I just didn't want to have to do it all myself. And then he just looked like a man that had been severely let down by his teammates.
Yep.
And that was hard viewing because he was very short with his answers. He didn't really know what to say. And yeah, I really feel for him because he's done so much. And at a time where we just wanted our system or our players to execute, they just didn't.
Yeah.
I think, we've been speaking about this off air. I've got this holiday glow at the moment. So I was at a party watching the game, and the game finished. I was like, oh, yeah, that's all right. I'll just grab another drink. And everyone was like, what's going on? What is happening here? This is not the Joel that we know. And so I'm trying to view everything at the moment through this lens of it still being okay. And I think more broadly, I still think we're heading in the right direction. I agree. I think we've played some fantastic football throughout the game in general. We did really, really, really lack leadership when we needed to it, and everyone kind of went to water apart from Zachy. But the people that I expect to step up in those situations are still people that need a bit of time. Caldwell is going to be that person eventually who steps up in that situation. I think Duz is going to be that person who steps up in that situation eventually. And I just think, we've had so much, we've been bereft of success for so long that we obviously expect it now. But, when Caldwell's 25 and not 23 and Duz is 25 and not 23, then I reckon we'll be able to arrest that. And so I still really, really liked watching how Caldwell, I think, stepped up pretty much for most of the second half and tried to win us the game, and how Duz was breaking away. It was just, it's really, really shocking to see some of the people who I guess we expect of it now, like Mackay, really go to water. Yeah,
I think that's the most frustrating thing is you guys who are in that, 100 to 200 games played bracket were the ones who really let us down. I mean, I don't think Mackay's actually played 100 games, or he's just short of that. But yeah,
it's been around for long enough.
I know, but you know, he's had,
and he's only played in 13 wins or something.
Yeah,
10. He doesn't know how to win games.
18 wins,
Clearly.
10 of them were this year.
Yeah. He also doesn't know how to handball.
Yes,
so.
that's I think we'll get to that. It's literally the first thing on my bad is Ben Mackay's handball. We'll get to that.
I read run cheater of like glass half full Joel and stopped. You really are glass half full.
Yeah,
I'm going to hold on to this for as long as I possibly can.
Don't worry, we'll bring you down by the end of the show.
I feel like listeners that are like, all right, give me Murty, give me Mert, give me Dark Murty, and they've got Damo and Joel.
For the listeners and viewers' sake, until about 20 minutes prior recording, Mert was going to be here. But then he pulled out late. Apparently he had his suit on and was ready to go for an early funeral pod. But he actually, we're talking, Mert. He said to me, I'll read what he said. And it wasn't all caps, they can all get effed, which is, I'm sure, is what most of you were feeling. But he did say, if you could just note that Zach should have kicked the goal on my behalf, that'd be great. He said, Bont, Cripps, the entirety of the Sydney side, maybe even Massimo would have kicked it rather than trying to pass to a teenager. Now, I know it wasn't the reason we lost, but watching that moment back, either one, you hit Nick Martin straight away because he had the lead. But I don't know what it is about Zach having shots on goal. He had a mark inside forward 50 where he was in range and he still played on to try and kick it to someone. And it's like, maybe he needs to be a little bit more selfish in his game. Yeah. Like, he's an incredibly selfless player. And I think goal kicking is probably his only knock. But I did watch that back and I'm like, gee, it would have absolutely brought the house down if, the captain literally just takes a bounce and goes from 50. And I feel like on the run, he's probably better than a set shot. I'm not sure that your opinion, but
yeah, it's sort of a guy in two minds of like sharing it with his teammate and doing the right thing. But yeah, there's times where you do need to like just saddle up and just I got to do this.
Like Warner, Goulden, those guys, they kick that
for sure.
They have a crack, which doesn't always go doesn't always go your way. But they have a go for it.
Well, I feel like if Caldwell had been able to...
That would have been him,
if it would have been him taking that kick, I think he would have kicked it as well, to be honest. Yeah. He kicked a huge one against the Pies, but yeah.
Anyway, that's Mert's addition to the show.
Mert did say in a thread that I'm in that he's not watching or attending another game for the rest of the year.
Okay.
How genuine that is. I don't want to hold him to it, but yeah.
I doubt.
If he appears on another pod for the rest of the year.
Press X to doubt. Considering he told me he's going to come on in 2 Mondays' time, doubt. Seriously doubt that one. He also said never draft players from a particular private school, but we'll leave that one there. I want to go to the final 7 minutes of the game. So I watched this back today. I watched two things. I watched the second quarter and then I watched the final quarter because I wanted to see what went wrong.
You're not well.
I'm not well at all. Gretchen kicks the goal. It's 111 to 96 and there's 7 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. Now, we obviously don't go to completely ice the game just then and there because there was a few misses, some of which came from young Nate Dogg, but he gets a pass. I think it's his, 4th game or 5th game?
Yeah.
But again, this is where those experienced guys needed to do the right thing and they didn't. And you can basically name everyone the back six had a mistake in that final 7 minutes. I think every single one of them did at some point. And then the midfielders got soundly beaten. Our sub had no impact. And the forwards were sitting there being like, oh, God, what can we do? And they're missing goals. Like, everything went wrong that could went wrong.
Yeah.
Could go wrong,
sorry. But I get a bit confused because post-match Brad's saying it was an execution thing, but it looked like the players were stuck in two minds that there was enough of the game left that they couldn't ice it entirely, so they couldn't go too defensive. And then, but they just seemed lost. Like, do we continue to play our system or are we just trying to be a bit more defensive and just shut the game down? But yeah, as you said, Rob, it was just sort of blokes that needed to do something didn't, and then that's the way that they actually played.
Yeah, like there were times in the game, and it also happened in the end of the second quarter where often as we do when we need to park the bus, Langford drops back. He did actually take a mark in that final 7 minutes. That was effective. But there were times where he would drop back, but then we'd win it and go to attack, and he'd start pushing up again. He sort of got caught halfway, like on the wing, and it's like, are you going back or not? Like he went back with, like I was there and watching it live, and he went back with I want to say 3 or 4 minutes to go in the second quarter when we just conceded 7 goals in a row. And I can understand maybe like, all right, let's try to concede any more. But then we kicked another couple and he was still floating back for a bit. And I'm like, we've kind of got momentum again. Like, why are you still there? Like, get off the ground.
Yeah, it's on the commentary they were speaking a lot around how Scott's a great coach at resetting in the quarters and at the breaks, and I feel like that often happens. Sometimes he's pretty good at arresting momentum straight out of a quarter at the moment, but like
we're always good post half time.
Yeah, it's not good enough. Obviously, it needs to be done like there and then on the field, and so like I don't know if there's there needs to be better delegation of leadership, like and needs to be stated, or whether people just need to just stand up and just take that responsibility themselves. But yeah, it was like. You just kind of almost knew it was going to happen. And I don't feel like I've had that feeling for a little while. Like I feel like most of this year I've been like, nah, we're still a chance. I was looking at like our close wins. And so last year, I think we had 7 games that were 12 points or under. We won 4 of them and we lost 3. The ones we won were twice against North, once against West Coast and once against Richmond. Okay. Yeah. So, last year wasn't very good. Yeah. This year we've had, I think it's 8 games already, and so more that are 12 points or under. We've won 5, drawn 1, and lost 2. So, so we are building that, and I think we've been so mediocre for such a long time that like it just takes a while to build that like knowledge of what to do in that situation. And obviously it's hurt us for a really long time, but hopefully now that they really feel like they're maybe a better team, it hurts even more and digs a little deeper. But yeah, it was really grim, and it was just. You knew it was going to happen, didn't you?
Yeah. And whilst I do see merit in that argument, as an example of a team that's done it the opposite way, is Craig McRae's walked in and literally just practiced close finishes with Collingwood, and within a year or two, they were a well-drilled, well-rehearsed team in those situations, and they did know. And like I certainly agree with you that it doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, in this modern day and age where like they are training so much and reviewing games so much and going through so much footage, it seems like Scott is a lot better than Rutten, which wouldn't be hard. But yeah, for me, I want to give him. I just want to stop giving him an out.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Like, be better.
Yeah,
and like you're doing this day in, day out, and if they've said it time and time again, we've rehearsed these situations. But then in the last few weeks, Scott said in a presser,
"Did on the night, mate. Got to do it on the night."
Yeah, but it's like he's said in the last 2 weeks we've had execution issues. Like, is this a coaching thing, or is this the players getting lazy?
Yeah, I mean, look, there was plenty of skill errors, and we can get to those in a bit. But if we think about that last goal that Adelaide kicked, so there's a stoppage outside forward 50. Ben Keys, who's played his best ever game, just absolutely burns Perkins. We'll get to Perkins a little bit. And then it goes into forward 50, and Jake Kelly is caught in no man's land. Now, if we're talking purely on a games played basis, Jake Kelly was our most experienced defender there on the night. And obviously without Dyson Heppel there, we go, who's the leader in the back line? So is it Andy McGrath? Yes. Is it Mason Redman? Yes. He's also one of the leads in the group. Jake Kelly, I would assume, considering his experience in the game, would be considered a leader. Someone in that group has to be the one who is just on it, going, all right, I'm standing next to my man, and literally in the 15 seconds it takes for the boundary umpire to pick the ball up and set it in, he is barking orders at everyone. And it does not look like anyone said anything, and Jake Kelly just goes, oh, crap, I'm in no man's land. And then what happens. Rochelle kicks the goal. Yep. And, like, it's easy for me to go, that's Jake Kelly's fault. He is partly to blame, but someone in that back group has to be the one managing that.
Yep.
And if someone was trying to manage it, they failed in that moment.
Yeah.
And you would think the one bloke out of that back six that can shut someone down in that moment is our most negating, annoying defensive backman in Kelly.
Yeah.
He doesn't. So
yeah, it is worrying. And, McGrath, He's had a really good year compared to probably the last 3 or 4 years in general, but it's hard to get a sense of whether he is aggressive as a leader, and he feels a little bit timid. And then, I wake up every Monday and I see him and another Essendon bloke doing recovery at the spa that he owns, and he's made 5 reels, and I'm like, why are you doing this? This is not what I want to see from you as a vice captain right now. But like going back to what you were saying earlier with Collingwood, like we're still missing that, like we don't. they had Pendlebury when they like decided to train those. They had side bottom. They had all these players that were like premiership players with heaps of experience. You know, we've got Jake Stringer who's selfish and he's still selfish. And
It's a fair point.
I'm really getting over the package at the moment. Like he's played some great games this year, but like that, and as you said, Goldie, like these are guys where we're looking to for experience. And Goldie is a champion as well, but just not what we need them to be at this stage.
Yeah, and for the first time in his career, Dyson Heppel gets omitted from the team, not managed. And maybe in that dying moment, he would have had the cool head to go, hey, so-and-so, pull here, hey, drop back, you know, scream it out, and it maybe that would have had an effect. But, yeah, obviously hindsight's 2020.
I think we could have just kicked another snag in that last quarter in terms of all the ones we missed.
If Draper didn't cannon one in the post, if Langford just remembered how to kick one directly in front, and if, you know, Nate Dogg didn't try to be a hero and just either chipped it to Jake, who then again 15 directly in front could miss, or just kick a drop punt because
a 1 point return from 3 of those shots is not ideal.
No. No,
I feel like Langford's goal kicking has kind of gone a bit amiss, hasn't
Since Anzac Day, I reckon there's been a little bit of a head thing going on there because last year he was so clinical. Like he's still good, but I mean, I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but I feel like he's missing a few more than he did this time.
Mert wants an investigation into it.
Mert does?
Yeah.
Mert does? Okay. Okay. We want an investigation, everyone. Investigation. I'll get up the AFL stats so we talk about it. Let's get into the bads, boys. I mean, plenty to pick out. Jolly, you're coming in fresh, mate. I'll give you the first bad. Who or what do you want to pick out?
All right, I've got a lot of notes, so I'm going to get to those as well. I'll start with the obvious, and let's just say Mackay's handballs. And I'm just going to reduce it to those specifically. Like, not anything else, just the handballs. Like, so panicky and off target, almost missing his fists, like landing at someone's feet or landing like a metre or two in front of them or behind them. Like, that is such a basic skill. A handball, like, and that was a knock on him was his kicking when he first came over and maybe some of his disposal, and that's kind of been band-aided over for most of this year, but the last couple of weeks it's really shown up, and it's
dare I say it's very North Melbourne of him.
Yeah, exactly right. And like, you know, it's we were shaky in general in defence, as you said, in that last 7 minutes. So a lot of people were making bad decisions and coughing it up. But that
was all game from him.
Yeah, that was, and it was the last few weeks.
There was 2 direct goal assists where he handballed it to Ben Keys, and like the one where he's got his back to him, and obviously Ben Keys has gone here, and he's just done a blind handball, not realising it's an opposition. Okay, that can happen. But there was one where he's in the pocket. And there's traffic everywhere, so you got to go the low percentage play and just get near the boundary line. But he literally handballs it back into the worst possible spot.
That was awful.
And like, I've had these chats with like, you know, some of our mutual friends, Joel, and like the conversation was actually around the Port Adelaide defenders. We're talking about Radaglia and BCT and stuff. To be a good defender, obviously you have to be able to defend. You have to be able to spoil and intercept and tackle all that. Ben Mackay can do that, but you have to be composed. You think about, you know, your Harris Andrews, you know, Stephen May when he was at his best. Those guys, when the heat is on, they're composed and they just do the simple things. They get the handball near the line, or they get the long handball at the top, wherever they need to do. They do that. At the start of the year, I was like, oh, Ben Mackay's more composed than I thought. But the last month, I've gone from going, oh, safe set of hands to, oh God, he's picked it up. Where's this going to go now? And he needs to work on that.
I don't often refer back to someone's contract size and wanting to put pressure on them because I think that's sometimes unfair just with how list management goes. But at the end of the day, he's on huge money and there's 2 ways to dispose of the ball in our game, and he's shown in the last 2 weeks he can't do one of them. So 50%.
Yeah.
I actually just gave all the listeners the bird there. But yeah, it's very disappointing for someone of his experience. He hasn't played huge amounts of games, but he's been in the game a long time to not be able to handball and to genuinely look so panicked under pressure when he's our pillar, or he's meant to be our pillar.
Yeah, exactly. I remember like playing junior footy, saying someone was a good handballer was kind of what you said to a kid who wasn't particularly good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, his hands are good, but it's like, yeah.
It's like when I won the fielding trophy in under 12s cricket.
Well done, Joel. Played backstop all season. Good on you. Good on
Played
you.
8 seasons of cricket. My highest score was 13 ever.
Oh, jeez, mate. That's grim. I used to, mate,
You really are glass half full, aren't you?
mate, I used to bat number 11 and I've scored more than 13.
Shocking. Terrible.
And in bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I can imagine that there's going to be several times, I'm sure it happens today, where there was several handballs of Ben's being showed on replay to him going, now, Ben, where should have that gone? Not that spot, not to that spot.
Yeah.
So it is frustrating because his intercept marking has been really good.
Yep.
He's beaten some very good players, but you know, you got to be the full package, and we're expecting you to be that player.
Yeah.
At least for the next few years that you're with us. And yeah, you can't be giving up absolute direct goal assist to the opposition.
No.
So.
And I think he's like, I've been thinking about something similar with Stringer. I was like, we can afford to have someone who plays like that as long as everyone else plays their role in his team first. And it's kind of the similar in the back line. You can afford to have one person who's maybe a really solid defender with poor disposal as long as everyone else is on their game.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
No, that's
so
it.
we can't
We can afford
make
to
up for one.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, because we know that there's other guys down there who are limited with their disposal.
Yeah.
You need someone who's sensible because, like, Ridley is probably the one who I'm always like, okay, Rid's got it. I feel really safe. Some of the time I feel safe when McGrath has it, but often his kicking can let us down. And then if the rest of them, I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen
Redmond?
here.
Safe-ish.
12 months ago, I would have said yes. This year, not so much. I think he's had a pretty down year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look at the rest of the group, and it's in traffic. It's tight, and you're like, what's going to happen here? And I wouldn't have thought their pressure was that good, Adelaide, but
Well,
they crumbled.
at stages it wasn't. And I don't know what their pressure rating was late, but I feel like we just got in our own heads around it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just to circle back to Kyle Langford real quick. So last season, 51 goals, 23 behinds. Shot at goal accuracy was 61.4%. So far this season, 37 goals, 22 behinds. Goal kicking accuracy is 53.6. So had an 8% drop there. So that feeds into that.
Sick.
Damo, you got a bad for me.
My bad from my perspective is on Brad Scott.
Ooh.
Post game, it sort of really pissed me off a little bit. He said the game was it was all momentum based and it was just ebbs and flows and it was just momentum, all this and all that. And then in my head, I'm like, they scored 9 unanswered goals, and you talk about momentum, but isn't it your job as a coach to stop momentum and arrest momentum and make changes to make sure either your team is well drilled to stop an avalanche of goals, or you actually make changes in a quarter to actually stop that from happening? And it just really annoyed me that he was so dismissive that was just the game. Like, we had our time, they had their time. But a well-drilled team and a team that plays with pride doesn't allow that to happen. Like,
Well, he kind of got called out by that. So the guy from the Age, what's his name? Andrew Wu.
Yeah.
He called him out and they said, you're a much more experienced side. Like, you think you should be better than that. And then Brad kind of went back in a bit.
He's like, what's your question?
What's your question? I'm like, this is the most exciting press we've had fucking 2 years with Brad.
Yeah.
And that's when he said, we can't be resultist.
Yeah.
Which is a phrase I've never heard mentioned once. And I've heard it like 10 times this weekend.
Can we maybe? That's the whole point of result in general, actually, is to win games.
Oh, that's the title for tonight's pod, resultist. Continue.
Yeah, and so if I don't know why a coach should be just acknowledging of that was just a part of the game. Like, I don't think good sides or good coaches will be like, they had a whole quarter where they just took a hold of us, but then we got it back in the first or the third. It's like, don't be accepting of that. Like, that's trash. Like, you're playing an away team at Marvel on a Friday night and they're 14th.
They got nothing to play for, yeah.
Yeah, and they let 9 goals go through. And, you're meant to be a team with, an edge and a hard nose. Anyone that's played any footy is if a team kicks 2 or 3, you're like, okay, you're just locked down and everyone just is like, okay, well, enough's enough. This is getting embarrassing. But it just never stopped.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, if that's what the bloke at the top's been accepting of, Like, hopefully they review it a bit more harshly, but
Yeah.
I was just like, that's no way to be accepting of like what just transpired in a game.
Yeah. And I think if we had won, it could, if we were being resultist, we'd be like, oh, what a nice comeback win. But it would have papered over some of what had happened that game.
Yep.
And like I wrote a little note in my phone at halftime, and we kicked a late goal, have momentum. I'm like, all right, we might come back here. But if that game was a final and we coughed up that late at halftime, that is game over.
Oh yeah.
Good teams don't let you come back from that. That is it.
Absolutely.
They would shut the gate, shut up shop, and go, we're going to make this the shittest second half of footy ever.
Yeah.
And we're going to kill the game completely. But Adelaide are a young team. They're young guys. They just wanted to play on at all times. And, to their credit, they played some very exciting footy. But if we turn this around, and I'm not confident that we will turn it around, if we turn this around and do hold on to our position in the 8, like this is simple.
Yeah.
This is like we'll lose by 100 points in elimination if we bring that.
We love losing by 10 plus goals in an elimination final.
Yeah,
it was in the second quarter. It was 8 goals from 10 inside 50s at one point as well. Like it might have been 9 in a row, but I remember that it was from 10 entries they scored 8 goals. I was like, that is so bad. Like
we were all at
to
sea.
give up.
Yeah.
Absolutely all at sea.
And then in the rest of the presser, he said it was an execution thing, and whether he's talking about the execution of the game plan or the execution of their strategy, or he also said that we don't coach skill errors. So he's sort of like saying like the players coughed it up, they didn't execute well enough. But I'm like, didn't we just hire like skills coaches and development coaches? And aren't you meant to be coaching skills, not skill errors, but like, aren't you meant to be putting these blokes under enough pressure at training to make sure they don't cough it up in these situations? So I found it a bit deflective from my point of view that he didn't, like a lot of the great coaches out there, in my opinion, accept responsibility pretty quickly for those sorts of losses. I felt like Brad sat there and he was like, they didn't execute well enough. It was a weird game, ebbs and flows. We didn't execute when we needed to. It was like, we just had a shit side score 9 goals against us, and we looked all at sea and we panicked.
Yeah. I had a lot of issue with just like how often they just had an extra man running past and we had no one running with them. Like it really felt that there was a lack of two-way running with our midfield.
Yep.
And like I'm very like, I've been speaking about this a lot the last few weeks, and I'm very like in two minds about our Cox-Jones wing setup because they kicked 4 goals. Like Jones kicked 1, Cox kicked 3, and offensively looked awesome. But there are times where you got players streaming the opposite direction, and 2 massive blokes just aren't going to chase people down and get back to a position. And there was just constantly guys over the top, and there are some like. I thought Dylan Shield played a pretty reasonable game for the most part, but there's one thing Dylan Shield loves doing. It's watching people run past in the other direction. Like, and they're all doing it. Like everyone was doing it at times. Yep. And I don't know, like to me, that's partly a game plan thing because we, like to set up and try and press as much as we can. But it's also a personnel thing that maybe you need an extra guy with a bit of run to get back to help him out, because either you've got defenders who have to peel off and push up, or the midfielders get back, or we're in a situation like we were on the weekend where you've got guys with paddock of space hitting absolute beautiful passes or just slotting them. It is, I don't know. I feel like last year, first year coach, Brad with the club, you get a free hit. Second year, it's still a bit of a free hit because, you're still betting in your team and your guys. But, if we're sitting here next season and, we haven't got the monkey off the back with finals, things aren't going well, then like the pressure's going to start to lift on him.
For sure.
And I would think he understands this because you only get a certain amount of period of time before it's like, okay, now it's on you.
Yeah, it's also like there seems to be a regression in season. So it's like, we'll give you your first year, but second year, okay, the team's playing well for the first half, but then it's getting average the second half. So why are we accepting of a regression mid-year when you're meant to be building off the momentum that you've developed in the early part.
I think Brad Scott has spoken a lot about the fact that he's still figuring out what the best lineup looks like, what the best positions are for everyone. He's trying to play people in different positions to build that experience. So that
he spoke about experimenting like a month or two ago, and it's like, hold on, are we meant to be experimenting now?
But this is the thing. Like, I understand that.
What?
Like, we want success now, but like maybe that is what it's happening. You know? He's like, you know what? We're not going to win a flag this year. I am still experimenting so that in 3 years' time we can really, really challenge for a flag and stay consistent. And, I think there is so much in the fact that we've had one good preseason in the last 10 where people actually gave a shit. And like mentally, in terms of decision making, as well as physically in terms of decision making, like we're just not a fit team still. It doesn't take one good preseason where 15 people go to a camp for us to become like this team that can last a year. Like we need to do that for 2, 3, 4 years.
And they've got the best bloody trainer in the game, basically. The guys at Melbourne. What's his name?
Selwyn Griffith.
No.
Darren Burgess.
Yeah, they got Burgess.
No, Burgess isn't there anymore.
He's gone. Oh, there you go. Forget that point. Move on.
No, Burgess is at Adelaide.
Oh, it shows.
The Crows, that's what we're talking about.
Didn't you say the guy at Demons?
No, he left the Demons.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, he left the Demons. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is why Adelaide looks so fit, is they've got the man.
Well, that's it. Like I just don't think we've taken our footy seriously for one 12-month period, and that's not long enough to be good enough yet.
Yeah.
Which is, again, it's my glass half full that I'm thinking about. It's like,
you're starting full transparency, you're starting to piss me off with the whole glass half full.
Right, good.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't know, you think about it, like, look, no team is going to play the same at round 24 as they do in round 1. If you're doing that, you're either the best team that's ever walked the earth and haven't lost a single game, or you are the worst team ever.
You're north.
Like moves get made and things change, and sometimes they work really well, sometimes they don't. Right now for us, things aren't working that well. Like, to look at another club, if I said to you 6 weeks ago, Rory Lobb could be a good defender for the Bulldogs, we would have laughed. And now he's playing really good, key defender for the Dogs. And so things can change, and there obviously has been moves that have been made throughout this season, and either the plan they're doing isn't working, or the players aren't able to adapt because they haven't had 3 months to practice it.
Yeah.
Because we had some good wins. Teams start to figure out, they go, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And they would have sat there through those losses against Gold Coast and Carlton gone, okay, how do we stop being in a position where we have all this territory and don't score? And now we're trying to adjust it a bit more, but that's opening us up the other way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a hard one. I've got a bad, which is going to make me sound like the biggest old man ever, but I want to address it. So, start of the game, we have a nice start, couple of good early goals. I love a big celebration. I love a party. But when we've just kicked the first 2 goals of the match, we don't need to go full EPL, match winner style celebration. And I'm talking about Draper. I'm talking about Cox. I'm talking about a lot of players who I really like, giving these huge celebrations. It's like, guys, it's quarter 1. And what happens quarter 2? We got absolutely reamed because they switched off. Save that for the last quarter when you kick the winner.
Yeah.
Like Gresham had a big celebration because he probably thought that he'd kicked the winning goal that we'd hold on. I'll give him that. But if you're kicking the very first goal of the game, bit of a pump up, telling to the crowd, get back in your position. Like, we're here to do a job. And I remember that happening in the first quarter. And I turned to James and like they showed Cox doing his weird little tentacle thing.
What is the Cox celebration? Because I remember.
I think it's he's a big Liverpool fan. I can't remember which player it is. I think it's a Liverpool fan.
Because I remember.
I saw Virgil van Dijk, it was him, I think.
Mate, it's a Virgil van Dijk.
So it's not from the childhood movie The Little Rascals.
It might be. I would love it if it was.
I literally have a GIF. It happens in The Little Rascals.
Okay, that was The Little Rascal. That'd be pretty funny. He's like, I just watched The Little Rascal for every game. But anyway, like, don't get me wrong. Time and a place. I love a big celebration. I think it's awesome. But the first couple of goals of the quarter, when there's so much more to play, and I said to James, I was like, gee, big celebrations here. What happened? They kicked 9 goals in a row. Yeah. I'm not saying it's because of Coxie's celebration, but I think that is an indication of the mindset of these players that they've rolled in going, home ground, Crows a week, Don's crowd, Friday night, here we go, here's a big party. And what happens? We get shown up.
Yep.
So that's my rant about celebrations.
That's a good one.
Enter Jack Ginnivan And CJ with the Hawks.
Yeah.
They took it to another level. But
Yeah.
no, I agree. Like going early, it's hard to watch because it's never going to bode well. If you win, yeah, good on you, but you achieve nothing from the celebration. And then if you lose, you look like an absolute fool.
Yes.
So
Do it when you know the game's iced.
yeah.
Do it when it's a massive winner, or when we've had a big comeback and we've got the scores level, you do a big celebration, you give us credit.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff's good. Like there's a time and a place, but
Not the Little Rascals.
not the little rascals, not the little rascals in the first quarter. Yeah.
But now even Draper's post-match celebration against Adelaide, where he slid on the ground.
Oh God.
That's now like
Karma.
he
Absolute karma.
literally like hits the post and loses the game. So,
Absolute karma.
yeah.
Drapes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jolly.
I'm going to just stick with him, actually. I think the jury's out a little bit on Drapes at the moment.
Okay.
I'm getting a bit worried about his level of consistency at his age. And I mean, I guess he hasn't played that much because he was injured for the first few years. He didn't play for his year. But like, I'm just worried that he's not going to be as consistent as we need week in, week out, like quarter in, quarter out. Like he's such a good impact player, and sometimes he just is amazing and he's such a presence. But then celebrations like this, or he acts a fool and like thinks the job is done before it's done. And like, you know, if he hasn't fixed his kicking now, is he going to fix it
Ever.
And like, again, can we carry another person who
He's
doesn't
20
have good disposal?
He's 26 in September, so he's no longer a young ruckman. Like we'll go, oh, he's a young ruckman. Yeah, he's inexperienced because he came from a soccer background. He didn't play a lot of junior footy, but like he's not a young ruckman anymore. It's like we can't use that excuse. It's like you're now in the area where traditionally this is where you play your best footy.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of weapons, but there's just that lack of IQ sometimes. It just doesn't quite get the job done.
And that's the issue. We've got these too many players like that, and we spoke about a couple already, like Stringer, who just can't.
Lack of IQ. Okay, he's dumb.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, doesn't know when to ice the game, doesn't know when to make the right decision. Like, and when they're on, it's fantastic, but you can't carry 8 blokes who, when they're on, they're great. You know, you need one on each line, maybe.
Yeah.
And the other 19,
they
know
can't
what they're
all be
fucking
party.
doing.
There's too much party going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Need a few more boring, just, get the job done types.
And even our party guys aren't even that cool.
I know. We're not even cool anymore. We used to be cool. Yeah, no, that's fair. If we're talking ruckman, I will put it on the agenda right now that I'm very comfortable for that to be the last game Todd Goldstein plays. I'm quite happy for him to put his coaching jacket on and stay in that role, and for the rest of the season we play Draper and Wright, or Draper and Bryan, or Ryan and Bright, or some combination with those guys, because he was awesome at the start of the season when Drapes
You
was...
just call it Ryan and Bright.
Ryan and Bright, whatever.
If we can get 2 new ruckmen, that would be great, actually.
Yeah.
We would love a new forward and a ruckman.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, if we can have Gawn and Tom Lynch from 5 years ago, that's what I'd like.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm quite happy for Goldie. Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
Yeah, you served your purpose.
You served your
Yeah, for
purpose.
sure.
You're here to teach, and you'd be a great coach for our future. But I'm quite happy with that being your last game, especially if we do blow up this next weekend and we cook ourselves for
And
finals.
I think the statistics around 2 ruckman versus 1 ruckman is heavily weighted in the 1 ruckman favour. But would you, with Goldie going out, and we can sort of semi-assume. I don't want to assume because I have no idea. But if Goldie goes out, what's your change?
I would personally like to see Peter Wright play, considering it's at Marvel.
Yeah,
purely I know he was shocking against Melbourne, and he deserved to be omitted for that performance, and that's totally fair. But it's just where he plays his best footy. And there were times in the week, there was times on Friday night where some of our long bombs into the forward 50, and Nate Caddy had a fair crack getting his hands in the times where I was like, gee, Peter Wright would be gobbling this up, especially because they lost 2 of their key defenders during the game. I'm like, he would actually be gobbling this up.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have anyone to chop his arms. But
no Butts and Murray early and no Wright.
Yeah.
Really stung.
Yeah. I know. There would have been a good time for him to play. So that is my preferred scenario, because I simply just don't see them playing Draper and Bryan and not playing Peter
And
Wright.
then Brian stays in the 2s.
I think so. I mean, unless we considered omitting Draper. I mean, Brian's that thing where, you watch a bit of VFL or you look at the numbers and you read the report and it's like he's killing it, but then he comes to AFL and you're like, he's not there yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So you definitely wouldn't see Draper, Bryan, and Wright in the same team.
You'd have to lose Caddy and
Okay, yeah.
or Langford, and I would probably also take out a Jones and a Cox, because otherwise it is just
Way too
land of the
tall.
Giants. Absolute land of the Giants.
Yeah.
I think that's just
That's fair.
That's just kind of how I feel about the whole team at the moment. I just feel
Yeah.
we're one bloke a bit too tall. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know there are times it looks really good. Like I was saying, like going forward, Cox and Jones is such a weapon, but going the other way, I'm like this. It's such a luxury. Our mids aren't good enough, and our small forwards aren't good enough pressure wise to carry these blokes in that sense. That's how I feel, at least. So.
Speaking of small forwards, Jai Menzies I thought was super on the weekend. I thought he was amazing. I'm being quite facetious. Thrilled, absolutely thrilled he signed a 1-year extension. But is Guelphy injured with a hamstring? Is that been confirmed?
I'm not sure.
I saw that today. Oh,
yeah.
Post-game.
I saw it again today, yeah.
Yeah. So then that, again, makes us even weaker, because you'd argue what he can do defensively is probably the best out of the whole team. So Menzies was lackluster. What would your changes be like? What are our options?
Hindy, probably.
Hind
Probably, or it's Hind or ADJ, I think. Unless you're debuting someone, it's
Hind was
or
already
ADJ.
unfair, I think, to be dropped in the first place, maybe. But
Yeah, he kind of got squeezed to the sub role, which is a crap role. And the other one's Hobbsy, who I mean is sort of in the ones he's played that sort of half forward role, but
I'll take Hobbs over Menzies.
Yeah, but I think he's also played a bit of midfield minutes as well. But I mean, I'm of the opinion that we drop RG Perkins, if I'm being honest with you, because I think he's had a very poor month, and he's come in as the sub, and it's a hard role, I understand, but he had very little impact. His direct opponent got multiple clearances that led to goals.
Yeah.
I think I would rather see Hobbs or even Sardis come in as that next midfield rotation, just to give him some time. Like
I'm glad Mert's on here.
I know.
We've got Setters
or
as well.
Setterfield's the other one. I forget about him. So
from a defensive standpoint, Setters might be someone that we should like. I agree. I didn't think. I thought Shields' first game back was really, really good. And then, I saw his defensive lapses on the weekend. So he maybe doesn't deserve to be dropped, but I would like to see maybe Setters back in alongside potentially an ADJ.
Yeah.
Just for that pressure. I mean, Jesse's spoken about it a lot and backed it and copped a bit of flack for it, but maybe that is what we need, just that perceived pressure in the forward line.
Yeah. When it's
something.
Yeah, I would expect him maybe Freo, probably not this weekend, but maybe the Freo game.
Okay.
But then again, he's probably going to, but I'm not sure if that means he's playing VFL this week or not. I assume he's going to go do a half a game in the VFL before they bring him over.
It's weird that we've got such a clean bill of health at the moment, and we're still...
There's no excuses. I know. There's literally no excuses.
Yeah.
We literally have one of our starting...
We're never in this position, and we can't take advantage of it.
I know. We literally have one of our best 22 out, and then the other guy is like maybe best 22 and Reed, but it's like he's not really proven. So
while Laverde's in our side and Reed is injured, I'll never see us having a clean bill of health.
Okay.
I feel like it's the closest we've been in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn medicos doing their jobs. Who do we blame now? You got any goods for me, Joel?
I do have some goods. I'll go with Caldwell, particularly in the second half. We've spoken a lot about him this year. He's had a fantastic 5 or 6 weeks of footy, but he is someone, as I said earlier, that I think is going to be a strong leader of this football club, whether it's in an official role or not, on field. He does not want to lose a contest, and he is filthy like anytime he remotely loses a contest, or, so often he's going across the boundary line, niggling someone. He's got 4 or 5 opposition players coming to him and he's just showing them off. Like, we need so much more of that. And I thought if he'd have stayed on the ground, then that probably would have had a big impact to us winning the game. I know they lost Dawson for a while, but I thought Caldwell's impact in that second half was fantastic. And just really proud of the way that he's coming on, to be honest.
Has he got cleared of a head injury? Has he been cleared of injury? Or is it just ribs or shoulder? Or...
Yeah, I think it was his ribs. He was
holding his ribs, but then I heard shoulder from somewhere. But I think he's definitely been cleared of concussion.
Yeah, he's cleared of concussion, so nothing there. But unless something pops up that's related to the ribs or shoulder that we're not aware of. But yeah, I feel like he's a pretty tough unit, and I'd expect him to be playing.
Yeah.
You know, he's
been super.
He's been incredible.
Yeah.
He's been incredible. I think the rest of the team need to take a leaf out of his book and get the Bondi Sands spray tan out and just do what he's doing.
I was literally thinking that, like, Joel's just literally coming back with a European glow to him. And then, like, how's Caldwell maintaining the glow?
It's a bit of Bondi Sands. That's what I reckon. Now, there was... Actually, I went and looked it up because James was telling me on Friday night that there's some video of him at some like Auskick clinic thing, and some kid's like, "You look really orange," and he's like, "Oh," it's like, "Oh," and then someone goes, "Yeah, he's got fake tan on," and you just see him just like hand blowing with his kids. He's like, "Oh, I'm getting roasted by these kids here." So anyway, more Bondi Sands all around, I think. Yeah, he was really good. If we're talking midfielders, I mean, I thought Durham was probably our best player on the night. Just looked like he was. I mean, he was at times absolutely tearing it apart. You know, used it really well as his explosiveness, which I like. And yeah, God, it's going to be exciting. And like you said, Joel, when he's a couple more years down the line, has had some proper professional off seasons and is just bigger and stronger and more accustomed to the league and, you know, taking them on because, I mean, who knows? Maybe he might be our best player in a couple of years.
Yeah, and I think the really pleasing thing about Sam is the fact that what he's doing in the midfield is so impressive, but he's also so incredibly fit and he's had one preseason of putting on size and he has. So the fact is that like he seems sort of durable, he's tough, he's ticking a lot of boxes that is so exciting rather than just being like, oh, he's super skillful, super amazing, but like comes halfway or last or whatever in the time trials. Like he is like hard and fit and he's a rock solid player. So yeah, him and Caldwell and Merritt without those three this year.
We would be talking drafts 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The Phantom form guy would have been out in round 3, I reckon, without those guys. He's been awesome. The other one I thought was a shout, and we touched on him earlier, but I thought coming off what I thought was one of his worst ever games, I thought Nick Cox was awesome. I think he deserves the plaudits because he was shocking into the Ds, rightly so. Also rightly called out for being that. But yeah, he was really good. Just really crafty is what I like because there were times where he like outworked bigger guys than him, like outworked Riley O'Brien at times and just smart body positioning, got in the right places, but also did some decent stuff on the ground as well, which I liked. And
crazy that he's now taking set shots with his left foot when he was kicking on his right foot for set shots a few years ago. Like,
yeah, it is wild.
Yeah, the plot thickens with him.
Yeah. It's
old little rascal.
Well, this is the thing I think about him, and like I know, like the clubs, Brad said it, and he said it himself. Like we want to mold him into like a Mark Blitzarves 2.0. That's where they wanted to get it to him. But I mean, I think if we're talking about the ideal balance of this side, and in my head, how I think it would work is the ideal balance of this side is we drop one of these ruck forwards out, and Nick Cox is the second ruckman at some point in time.
Yeah,
and he either plays forward or back or wherever he is, and then he jumps in because he's just got that freak athleticism that I think means you can do anything with him. And someone goes down, he drops back, goes forward.
He was doing that at the start of the year. He was pinch hitting in the ruck.
Yeah, he's done a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, he's a real talent, and like game 50 for him. Like a mate of mine after the D's game was like, "Oh man, what a failed pick on nowhere." I'm like, look, Desley didn't look good this week, and he's obviously had a pretty injury-interrupted career. But I'm like, no, the kid's got skill, and it was nice to go. It was nice to feel like, okay, no, he is definitely still one for the future. As much as people on Facebook and Instagram would disagree at times.
Yeah,
so, Merritt was good too. Outside of not taking that shot,
Caddy was good,
very good.
Yeah,
like
apart from his goal kicking.
That's fine.
Low bar for him.
Yeah, like. Don't do it again. But every time he goes near it or he has it, something comes of it. And like his disposal around the ground's very sharp. His effectiveness is really, really impressive, and he has a red hot crack and he's energized. Like there is just so much excitement about him, and I'm genuinely intrigued to see how we ruin it. Like we haven't. Like Nick Cox. Let's not forget how Nick Cox started with the Essendon Football Club.
Yeah, that's true.
And he
How
he
you
went wandering for a few years.
All right, so I'll give you 10 to 1 odds on hamstring off the bone day 1 of preseason.
Yeah.
I'll give you a spinal stress factor of 5 to 1. What else we got? Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Achilles rupture for me.
yeah. Speedboat accident on Lake Eildon.
It is good to
Something like that. Yeah.
It is really good to see him. Like because this is the first game I've watched since I've been back in Oz.
Have you seen him in the flesh? Because you've been away the last 6 weeks.
I haven't seen him in the flesh.
Oh, mate, it's good.
It's awesome.
It's real good.
Well,
Trust me.
It's exciting. And, he feels like, I don't want to say it now because you guys have just said that. You're right. But he feels like someone who can come on quicker than a normal, larger forward would. And, if we pick up this small forward in the draft, let's go to players that we don't even have yet. But that small forward that apparently we're getting with the change of the NGA rules, maybe our forward line will continue to take shape over the next few years to be super, super threatening.
I said it last week. Nothing says Sash pod after a loss like putting all our hopes and dreams on a kid who's yet to play a game. Nothing. That's how we do things here. That's how we do things here.
Zach Reid will be our best player.
Yeah, Zach Reid, Isaac Kako. That's the future right there.
100%.
Anyway, any more goods and or bads from either of you two? Otherwise, we'll go for a break. No. Good. All right, let's take a break, everyone. We'll be back after this with some hot takes. Welcome back, everybody. Part 2 of the show. Here for some hot takes, of course, brought to you by our new sponsors, Waxit. Lift your car care game with Waxit. Thank you to everyone who sent them through. We appreciate you as always. Sorry to everyone who can't get played, of course. I haven't got the time to sit here for an hour and listen to every single one of them, although that's what I do often on a Monday, and I go through them all during my lunch. And as always, people who sent them through just saying, this person can go get fucked, well, I'm not going to play it. I listen to it, and I know how you feel, but obviously I'm not going to play it. So
we acknowledge it.
Yes.
You are being heard.
You are being heard, and we acknowledge it. Like, we obviously, you can go tell someone another club to go get stuff, but yeah, we got to be a little bit nicer than that to the fellas. Be constructive, I think is the word. Constructive. Yeah, we got to be constructive. All right. I'd play the intro, but I have a new computer here and I didn't put the intro on it. So let's just keep rolling and we'll get stuck into the first one. The first one is, it's the hope that kills you. Here we go.
Well, that performance really just goes to show that we're no different to what we were this time last year. When the going gets tough at the pointy end of the season, we just go to water. We're not it. We're just not it. We're just a very middle-of-the-road team who somehow still finds itself in finals contention. We don't really deserve to be here. I know a couple of weeks ago I said, after the Collingwood win, I said there was hope. There definitely isn't. It's the hope that kills you, and year in, year out, it's been that same hope that's just been stabbing us in the back consistently. There is literally a team that is finals bound, a team that plays finals worthy football does not concede 8 goals in a row. Mm-hmm. I know we kick 7 or 8 in a row of our own, but that just is inexcusable. It is inexcusable. We're not good enough. I suppose that it's we'll be having the funeral on Monday, so yeah, all great. Good stuff, Dons. Real good stuff.
That's a very happy person post game right there.
I love the multiple hot takes. One's a positive from a few weeks ago that he's come back for a negative.
Yeah. That's what we like. It's all about the journey here.
Yeah.
It's all about the journey. We get a bit of everything. Let's keep rolling. Next one's from Jack. Thank you, Jack.
Gee whiz. Hate to say it, but I saw it coming. The downfall of Essendon again. Oh, well, boys, you can all be positive and fucking blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't waste my breath on that. I'm just going to say, back to the drawing board, back to the trade period. Let's just see how low on the ladder we can get so we can get a draft pick high enough and then take Kako and go from there because, gee whiz, we are shit house.
Oh, there we go. There we go, everyone.
Mm-hmm. What did you say earlier in the show? It's like classic Essendon that we get to a point where we just start talking about draft picks.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, go back to the early, like, every season of this pod, it's always funny because they just hit the point where we just start talking about the draft. We're just like, oh, right, we're out. We're at the draft now. What I also really like about hot takes is that the ones that come through first are usually the ones obviously soonest post game. So with this one, they start real dark, but they slowly start to get a bit more positive because people have had a night, they've had a sleep, they maybe even gone for a jog the next morning, and then they've kind of cleared their head. They're like, okay, here's something a bit more constructive. So I do like that. I'm definitely not padding for time while I try and find this next one here. New computer's playing up on me. Come on, where are we? Who we got? The next one is from Siggers. Thank you, Siggers.
Lads, tell me, what have I just witnessed? I can't believe it. Do the players want it? Does the coach want it? Does the club want it? Tell me. I mean, I've been alive for 22 years. I've never physically been in the mindset of seeing or winning a final. Does this club want to do something about it? Seriously, get a grip. I mean, choo-choo, all aboard Jesse's train. My fucking ass.
Definitely sounds older than 22.
Yeah,
It's like,
He's on 22.
yeah, maybe 22 years as an Essendon supporter. I don't know, but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, Jesse's train is well and truly derailed and crashed and burned, I think. Anyway, let's keep going. This next one's from Shat the Bed FC.
He's not 22.
Our Dons have had some really good opportunities to cement our spot in the top 8 in the last month or so, and we've shat the bed. Geelong a few weeks ago, shat the bed. Melbourne last week, all results went our way. Top 2 up for grabs, and we shat the bed. Tonight, we shat the bed. Ample opportunities to ice the game. Draper, directly in front, 20 metres out, shat the bed. Caddy, check side banana, out on the full, shat the bed. First year player, he can be excused. Langford, set shot, out on the full, shat the bed. When will this club give me and my broken heart a rest?
Felt
Never.
that one.
Never.
Felt
Yeah.
that one. Very much felt that one.
Yep.
Next one's from Jai Jai season 24.
Play the Crom on a Friday night. Change the side, drop Peter right. Down by 36 is when I turned off the TV. Nobody likes our 23. Where's my rage again? Here's my rage again. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
It was about 4 a.m., I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah. Not in time at all, but yeah. Definitely head back to music class, I reckon, that one. Very good, though. Next one is from Hello Essendon, my old friend, and then an angry emoji.
Hello, Essendon, my old friend. You've given me false hope once again. 'Cause I thought this year we'd win a final. But we haven't since I was in the first grade. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains. 'Cause we're fucking shit again.
Very good.
I always imagine those like the missus is asleep in the room next door, like trying to get to sleep, and someone's just in the other room doing like 6 takes of it.
In
And
a
she's like,
dark
what
corner.
the fuck is going on? Yeah. She walks in and he's like, not now.
Not now.
Well, can you please hit that note?
Yeah.
Because you've been trying to get that high note for way too long.
Next one is the Water Boy. Thank you, Water Boy.
Oh no! We suck again!
Haven't seen that movie in a long time. Classic. Let's keep moving. Johnny Thrash. I was going to say Johnny Trash. Johnny Thrash.
We heard that train a-coming. It was rolling around the bend, and that motherfucker stopped. And I don't know when I will see another victory, let alone a finals. And we're stuck in Don's prison. Looks like we're shit house again. There you go, boys. A little Johnny Thrash for you. I went to the game last night, took my little girl, and she said to me during the second quarter, Dad, why can't we touch the ball? and I didn't really have an answer for her. And I feel sort of guilty because we decided, my wife and I, not to force religion on our children or anything really. And yet here I am forcing this mediocrity, a lifetime of misery, and no success on her. And yes, I feel guilty. I don't know what else to say about that game. I really went with hope. And you know what, lads? It's the hope that kills you.
Poor Johnny. Poor Johnny.
There's still time. The Catholic Church is out there. Don't worry. It's, you can still switch.
Yeah.
Repent.
Yeah, don't worry. There's plenty of other face that'll take you if it's not the Essendon Football Club, mate. Next one's from Jackie. Thank you, Jackie.
Oh, hey guys. Thanks for the shout out last week. Yes, Rob, I was flat. Now you tell me how I feel after Friday. Tell me how I can refrain from swearing in front of my kids. Was at the game and got tickets right next to the Adelaide cheer squad. Saw a punch on nearly break out. Takes us 1.5 hours to drive home. My therapy is listening to Brad Scott's press conferences, hoping for some sort of reassurance. Then listening to you guys. You know, the hardest part as a parent for me right now is trying to keep my 3 kids optimistic. It's a bloody hard gig, I tell you, constantly reminding them that your mum's first grand final was seeing us lose in 1990, then to go on and win 93 and 2000. I did grow up as a happy kid, good generation. But for them, it feels a while off. Fun fact, I bet my 11-year-old $250 when he was 8 that we would win a flag by the time he was 13. What have I done? I need a break from footy. How exhausting is it? I'd say bring on next week, but not feeling it at the moment. Could start dissecting the players and all of that, but kind of lost motivation. Someone change my mind, please. I care a lot about this club, maybe a little too much, but I'll never give up.
There we go.
I like it, Jackie. I'll change your mind after hot takes. I've got some stats for you.
You got some stats for us.
And I'll make sure that your 3 kids stay positive.
Yeah, I guess we're not at the stage yet, Damo, where our children talk back to us, particularly about Essendon. You just plonk them down and watch the game, and that's it.
They're probably crying just as much as most Essendon fans.
That's true.
As well. Sleeping just as poorly.
Yeah.
My son pissed on his Essendon onesie before bed the other night. And I shit you not, like that is a full fact. Like he pissed all over his onesie, so we couldn't even sleep him in that. So.
Yeah, tough times. Next one is from Depressed Quinn. Thank you, Quinn.
It's Friday night. I can't wait. I need a hit. Won't get it. Don's dangerous. We look unfit. Perkins can't be found. Ladder, we're falling down and down. My weekend's ruined now. Dons are having some dips, fans on a ride. Where shit it, I'm losing all hope. Taste of a top 4 paradise. I'm so sick of this. Don't you know that we're shit? Better get on the piss, cause we know that we're shit. It's just ridiculous that we could be this shit. Lads. Might as well call Essendon a theme park, because at this point we have more fucking slides than Wet n Wild. Up the plains.
I got a lot of work went into that.
Yeah, that was a good one. I love that he subbed out toxic, which we are.
Yeah.
Shit. I just didn't keep it toxic.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a very good song, man. Well done.
Yeah, he did good. Toxic would have been fine. Next one's from Hopeful. Thank you, Hopeful.
Hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away. And hopeful, and we'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay. Let's be hopeful. Up the Dons.
Nice.
Just something to pick you up, fellas.
Yeah.
Something to pick you up there.
Joel, was that?
I'm going to play that.
Was that you?
Yeah. I'm going to wake up with that each morning.
Yeah. No, you've definitely sent them through before. Let's go. How are we going for time? Yeah, we're okay. Let's keep going. This one's from Isaac. Thank you, Isaac.
Look, I'm a massive fan of Brad Scott and his coaching. I think he's done an excellent job this year, and I loved how livid he was in the press conference. But I'd also love him to take a bit of responsibility for this loss. And in the press conference, he's talking about it was just execution. It wasn't anything structure. I think that's bullshit. I look at this game, like, I don't know what it was like watching it on TV, but every time the ball hit the ground, I was panicking. I was worried because our fleet of foot, we were so slow. They just picked us off. As soon as it hit the ground, we were absolutely cooked. The transition, we got absolutely annihilated. Look at the possession. It was like, I think, 46 or 47% to 35%. So we dominated the ball, but it just meant that when we didn't have it, when it hit the deck, we got absolutely destroyed. So that's rubbish from Brad Scott, not structure. We were too tall. We had too many guys that are out of form. Making a statement with Peter Wright, excellent. But how about you make a statement with 10 other blokes that are completely out of form? So I just think there needs to be a bit of accountability there from Brad Scott, and I hope there is, and I hope that's part of why he was so pissed in the press conference, having a snap at everyone. But fuck me dead. Like, it's clear as day how much of an issue our structure is at the moment, not just execution. So fuck me.
Friend of yours, Damo, Isaac?
No, but yeah, smart guy. I like the cut of his jib. So.
Yeah, some good points made, Isaac, and I can hear your frustrations. Lots of frustrations. Let's go back to some silly ones. Next one's from Baz. Thanks, Baz. What have we got here?
I've finished kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, and university, and this team has not won a final in that entire fucking time. Oh boy, 24 hours later, I'm still so flat. Well, shit.
There we go. I feel you, Baz. I feel you. Now we like a bit of poetry on this show, boys. So this is the Don Poet Society.
Oh,
this will be good.
A mark, Draper, the Bombers fans cheer. He's at the top of the goal square. Why am I the only one trembling with fear? Oh, please, God, Drapes, put the Crows at our rear. He's missed, dear oh dear. Essendon edge, like finals no more. That much is clear.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Not bad. Not bad. Next one's from Plank of Wood. Thank you, Plank of Wood.
Let's play with style, have heard for a while. Finals can wait, we're only reading headlines. Hoping for the best, but we still play the worst. Are we gonna drop the coach or not? Worship went on for what seemed like forever. We moved on to rut and didn't get any better. Lose in September, our season's cut short. We play with a bad plan. Can you imagine if the finals won? See the mighty planes flying in the sun. Sticking with Bradley will get us a spoon. This team's coached by a plant man. Forever Dons. 8,000 days, forever Dons. Is the streak gonna last forever? Forever and ever. Forever Dons. 8,000 days, forever Dons. Is the streak gonna live forever? Forever Dons.
I'm just picturing a guy in a room that has not much furniture on a synthesizer just by himself, maybe in his jocks belting that out. That's what I'm picturing.
It's not a great image.
Yeah. Very good, though. Very good, Plank of Wood. That's definitely one for the Hall of Fame. Couple more to go, everyone, before we wrap up. This is the gospel according to Zechariah.
A reading from the Book of Nathaniel, season 2024. Round 19. One night I dreamed I was walking along the beach with my captain, Zachariah. Scenes from our season flashed across the sky. In each, I noticed the footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were 22 sets of footprints. Other times there were 4 or 5 sets of footprints. But in our darkest hours, the losses against Melbourne and Geelong and Adelaide, getting hammered by Port, getting embarrassed round after round, there was only one set of footprints. I turned to Zachariah and said, "How could you leave us on our own during these darkest rounds?" And Zachariah replied, "The times when you have only seen one set of footprints is when I carried this whole fucking team on my own." Here ends the reading. In the name of the plane, the hangar, and the glorious 2000 season. Amen.
Amen. Oh, very good, very good.
Well played.
Very good. Couple more to go. I reckon we've got 3 more in us, everyone. This one's from another Jack. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, g'day there, lads. I've had a couple of days now just to think about the game. And, first I was angry, but then I kind of thought to myself after a while, it's not as bad as it seems. Nothing is as bad as it seems. The sun will come up tomorrow. It's just football. We're okay. Everyone just chill out, We need to just, relax. The season's not done. But then I fucking thought to myself, no, we're fucking shit. We lost to a fucking bunch of potatoes who didn't even have 2 good fucking defenders. They were fucking subbed out for half the game. Their fucking captain was off for the last quarter, and we still fucking lost. All we're missing is Darcy Parish. Get used to it, everyone. This is the best fucking side we've got, and we're still fucking shit. So, yeah, the fucking season is done, and I'm fucking over it. So, fucking have a good day, everyone, you fucking legends.
That was as up and down as our season.
That took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair to say that one.
That was us. That was, good until after the bye and then downhill.
We're just sort of love child of Joel and Mert.
Yeah. It reminded me of, oh, God, I've just gone blank on his name. It had a bit of Bob Catter energy about it where it started and he goes, "But I'm not having any time for it." And he just kind of went off.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 2 more to go. Got Beck from Oz here. Thank you, Beck.
It was the final 36 hours of our much-awaited European vacay, but I still asked the hubby, let's take a break from sightseeing and watch the Bombers. Is that okay? He agreed wholeheartedly as we sailed and watched Greek islands pass us by, but I wasn't fully prepared for the result of this game, one that left me asking why. That being said, the outset looked good, strong and composed, nailing score after score. In fact, the first quarter was outstanding and Jesse's train was definitely screaming, more. But oh wow, what a roller coaster of a match for my head and my aging heart. I truly thought we had this one in the bag right from the very start. The Essendon edge had returned with might, fury and pace. I couldn't look away as I saw our boys' will and desire to keep their top 8 place. Maybe the journos were wrong and the commentators didn't have a clue. Perhaps this really was going to be the year the Bombers won a final, or maybe even 2, until those final few minutes. Social media screamed nasty straight after the game because the haters will hate and the fans will call every single Dons player a crass sort of name, from lazy to slow, we deserve better, we're shit, and everything in between. And sure, I'm feeling damn right flat too, but I'm actually proud of our team. It's heartbreaking for sure, but overall I saw grit, determination and drive, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be in the top 8 in September. Well, in 2025.
Oh.
Nice one, Beck.
Very clever. Very good.
Impressive, Beck.
Yeah. Just dropping the fact she's still on holidays as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all sitting here in the cold, living it up in the rain. You know what was actually a real sign that I should have just walked home and not gone to the game was the fact that I couldn't access the ticket on my phone because of all that chaos, all that micro stuff happened. Yeah.
That's a sign for sure.
Shout out to the so I scanned in with my club membership because that still worked. I went up to Medallion Club, where our seats from Ticket Verse are, great seats. And the guy's like, "Hey, mate, how you going?" I'm like, "Man, I can't load the ticket on my phone." But luckily, I had the screenshot of James's ticket, and I said, "This is where my mate's sitting. I'm sitting next to him. I can't load it." And he's like, "Just come on in, mate. Don't worry about it." So thanks to that legend working security for Medallion Club. Can't say they're ever going to do that ever again to anyone else or anyone during other than that night. But yeah, it was nice. They were looking after everyone because I think they realised that no one could get in. No one
it
could
would
get
have
in.
been chaos.
It was definitely chaos. All right, last one, everyone. I'm not sure if you guys heard a couple of weeks ago, but we do get some big names who send them through. Some pretty big people, big celebrities, and this is a big name. So I'll just play it. I don't think I need to introduce them.
Part of Australia's sporting savannah, a fascinating encounter unfolds. Here, amidst the vibrant ecosystem of the Melbourne Cricket Ground, two formidable creatures have come face to face. Fresh after driving the pesky magpies into near extinction, the mighty planes appear confident that a crow will offer very little resistance. Indeed, by the end of the third quarter, it seems that this assumption was correct, and that the mighty planes have just destroyed another avian species and will soon have the RSPCA waiting for them at the hangar. However, before the planes can establish their dominance, a remarkable shift happens. Suddenly the planes run out of fuel, the engine falls out, the crow turns into fucking Homelander, and the once mighty plane is, well, just mighty fucking awful. Down the plains, down the plains.
There we go. David Attenbomber there.
That was a great David Attenborough. Was it AI? Was it a person? They've done very, very well.
It's the real thing, mate. He loves the Bombers. Yeah. He was very, very good after the Pies win.
That was awesome after the Pies win.
Yeah, so nice to have him back again. But that is going to wrap us up, everyone. Once again, sorry to everyone who can't be played, but that is it. Now on to St Kilda on Saturday. You got some data for me, Joel. You've been talking up your stats. What do you got for me? Let's end on something good.
So a couple of things. One, remember when Brad Scott walked into the club, it was a fucking basket case.
Yes.
That his entrance into the club ruined his chance of a good first preseason, first and foremost. So let's just say he's had 18 months and one proper preseason.
Yeah.
And I'm also really aware that these stats are coming at around 17, and there's a good chance that the next 5 games are going to swing these completely against the point that I'm making.
Okay, go.
But 2023, our season's biggest 3 losses, 126 points, 77 points, and 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it's been 69 points, 45, and 30. So we haven't hit the top 3 yet. 2023, 3 times we scored. Yeah, yet, exactly. We've got the 5 games to go, and there's a good chance this is all fucking bullshit by then.
Brisbane.
2023, 3 times we scored under 50 and twice we scored under 40. We've only scored under 50 once so far this year, which is against Port. The biggest scores we gave up last year were 162, 132, and 122. This year it's been 131, 111, and 105. Last year we won 11 games. This year we've won 10.5 so far. Inside 50s, we're sitting 4th at the moment. I know we're not doing a lot with them, but last year we finished 15th. We're sitting 7th for tackles. Last year we finished 17th. First for disposals, but I'm not sure if that's a great stat or not anyway, whether that proves we're doing a good job. Last year we finished 9th. Clearance is 11th. Last year finished 18th, so I feel like we're heading in the right direction, and I'm giving Scott one more free pass until the heat starts going on next year. But I kind of feel like, how Mert's potentially leaving footy forever?
Yeah.
I kind of feel
he
like
says it every week.
This is sort of this in extreme left and extreme right politics where at the end of it they end up circling back and having the same opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to happen with me and Mert is we're both just going to give up on footy, but I'm going to do it because I'm positive about my life and he's going to do it because he's negative about the Dons. So yeah, we'll see if that's how it plays out.
There we go.
But I think we're doing better in general, but there's 5 weeks left for that to all go to shit.
Yes, exactly. They've been saying that it's not going to end up the same way as last year. Obviously, getting done in that fashion doesn't go well for that statement.
No.
But, I said last week maybe that was a turning point. Well, maybe this is another turning point and it's either going to get considerably worse or they'll actually do something. Saints are coming off a pretty big win, but, they're not playing for much. They're pretty undermanned list. I think I think Liam Henry's now out for the season. So Yeah, it's now or never, Dons.
Yeah, and I think those stats are positive, but I don't know how many ways I have to tell you, Joel, that your optimism's like it's really pissing me off. If we're on the same pod again, I might not attend.
That's what Matt's done. That's what Matt's done. Yeah.
No, but I think it's very glass half full, and it is positive based off our markers that we were really average at last year, and we have shown improvement. I think as an Essendon supporter, we get so caught up in the final win that we need to get, and like we see other teams progress so quickly, and I guess we have developed this year, but it's just so the last month or last 6 weeks is just so frustrating.
That's fair. And I've been away for 6 weeks. So
I told you, mate, we'll bring you down. We'll bring you down. Mate, 1 week in
Melbourne in June, July.
Yeah, 1 week in Melbourne and a night loss at Marvel train home ride. You'll be back. But hey,
vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, watch my life derail in real time in the next 5 pods that I do.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the game, lose, come home and have an argument with your missus because Essendon lost. Piss on my onesie. Piss on your onesie. Yeah. All those things. But hey, maybe we're just resultist, guys. Maybe we're just resultist and there's more to it than that. Anyway, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to everyone on YouTube for watching. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. Thanks to our sponsors. And of course, thank you to our premium listeners. If you want to listen to Thursday's show, you can sign up to our premium feed for $5 a month or $42 for the whole season, which is an absolute bargain. I mean, you can pay us less and get the whole season. $42 works out.
Dirt cheap.
Works out better. And what else have I got? Yeah, Thursday we'll see there. Preview the Saints game. Funeral next week, maybe, or the week after.
A loss to Ross.
Yeah.
It's a long way back from there.
A loss to Ross. There's Derek Cheers, who's a St Kilda supporter.
Jam it, Des.
Anyway, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time. Up the plains.
Go
Bye.
Plains.